Coming up in this video, do you have to decalcify the pineal gland to be all psychic and intuitive? What does that even mean? All right, so this is part of our third eye playlist, how to grow your third eye. And if you watch the whole playlist, we're going to show you some new science that will blow your third eye blind. Boom diggy. It is time to tag up.
Yes.
For all of our Zen heads in Zenit Academy, let us know that you're here with a hashtag ZenHead for life.
Yes, and if you're watching live, give us a hashtag LiveTribe.
And if you're watching on the replay, give us a hashtag replay fam.
For those of you that are just getting to know us, I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
From Garden.
.com.
We got a lot of info to throw at you because we've had questions all
Hold on your thinking hats.
Get your pencils out because we've had a lot of questions all through the week.
And we're going to get brainy and nerdy, so we will be going through it rather quickly because we do have a lot to cover today.
Well, we'll see. We're just going to get into it. So this is the 5th video on this series on the third eye. And we decided to do this series on the third eye for our hashtag YouTube fam. It's Friday. Is that my excuse? Because we get so many questions about it. So regardless of the mystical symbolic location of the third eye, the junction point is in the brain itself.
Right? And in this series, we've been talking about different parts of the brain that activate during the classic mystic experience, as well as the part of the brain that lights up during an intuitive, empathic, or psychic-related experience.
And today we're going to get deeper into the pineal gland, which we kind of started off the series with, and I'll give you a few tidbits, but now we're going to get deeper. So the pineal gland, which is an endocrine gland that lives in the epithalamus in the limbic system of the brain.
But first, we want to know, what kind of brains do you eat?
No, that's no question.
Oh,
they're not zombies. What kinds of things do you eat for brain health?
For us, we do some MCT oil in our coffee, little kind of bulletproof modified coffee. We want to know, have you ever had an experience where you were in total doubt that you even had intuition or maybe even basic instincts?
So we want to know both. What do you eat for your brain?
What kind of brains do you eat?
And how do you feel about your intuition? But today we're going to talk about these pineal gland points
of interest. And I'm sure you may have heard of some of these, and let us know in the comments if you've heard of some of these things out there on the Google net.
So we're gonna break them down for you. Calcification. We're going to talk about fluoride because you all have been asking. We're going to talk about the 2 categories of crystals in the pineal gland.
Did you guys even know that there were actual crystals? And we're also going to be talking about DMT.
And then we're going to talk about how to have a healthy pineal gland without doing crazy shit.
I just wanted to take the drug one because I'm that hippie, but from the 60s.
You're not a hippie at all.
I'm the hippie from the 60s. I'm the hippie from the 60s.
Ex-gamer rave baby. So first, there is a lot of talk about the calcification of the pineal gland, which does have a high calcification rate. And unlike most of our brain, the blood-brain barrier doesn't isolate the pineal from the rest of our body. So it is a unique kind of organ in that kind of a way. And the blood-brain barrier, what the blood-brain barrier does, say that fast 20 times, is it decides who gets in and out of the brain. So it's a little bit more of a
like a bouncer for the brain.
So it's not that stuff,
are you cool enough to come into the VIP room or not?
So it's not that stuff doesn't get in there. It's just that the blood-brain barrier is very smart about what it lets in.
But before we get all conspiracy theory about all the things, let's break it down.
So let's
break it down. Break it down.
Let's talk about the pineal gland. So the pineal gland, if you've been following this series, produces melatonin, which is a hormone that modulates circadian sleep and seasonal patterns like the sun. It's longer seasons, shorter seasons. And it does calcify over time. And that calcification increases as you age.
And this also depends on environmental factors like altitude or sunlight exposure. So I'm a white guy. I probably shouldn't be in the sun very often.
But those 2 factors, other than aging, also contribute to how much calcification happens in the pineal gland naturally. So when pineal gland calcification increases with age,
calcified pineal gland,
melatonin production decreases And that can affect the progress of neurodegenerative disorders like migraines, which I used to suffer from a lot. And I've done a lot of things in my diet and in my workout routines that I really hardly ever get migraines anymore. So I can tell you there's stuff you can do. Stroke, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's, those kinds of things.
So from an evolution standpoint, the pineal gland is thought to be kind of an atrophied photoreceptor. And in the epithalamus of some species of amphibians and reptiles, it still functions this way, right? And is linked to a light sensing organ called the parietal eye, the pineal eye, or the reptilian third eye.
So we were talking about when we were talking about the pineal gland in earlier part of this series, how it receives light and produces melatonin and serotonin and tryptophan and 5-hydroxy, whatever.
5-HTP.
Yeah, it sits in the middle of those. It actually does work as a photoreceptor in reptiles. So it's called the reptilian third eye. So French philosopher and scientist René Descartes, who died in 1650, by the way, called the pineal gland the principal seat of the soul. And he was kind of responsible in a big way in our modern era for spinning off the mystical assumptions about the pineal gland.
So he was the odd man out as these things go, because his contemporaries considered it just a neurostructure and studied it as an endocrine gland without any mystic qualities.
So really the pineal gland's been studied for quite a long time, but we know more about it now in our era because we've got more things like electron scanning microscopes and stuff like that.
MRIs and all kinds of things that can get in your brain. Anyway, before we continue, Laura says, I totally do the MCT oil. Sometimes I'm a cacao and chaga, etc. mushroom powder concoction in the AM after a small intermittent fast. This helps my brain tremendously. Also, no dairy totally helped. And Laura, we are totally on board with all of those that you're mentioning, because same thing, we do the intermittent fasting. We've cut out a majority of dairy in our diet, and same thing with the cacao and the mushroom. All of those are amazing for brain health.
And cacao and the chaga mushroom, and those are all good for detoxing and decalcifying all sorts of things. So not just the pineal gland. So let's talk about the pineal gland some more. The pineal gland is highly metabolic until about puberty. So it plays a really powerful role in metabolism to help you grow. So before it starts to calcify slowly over time, it kind of speeds up after puberty. Its function before puberty is thought to do with growth before adolescence. So something happens when you hit adolescence and it kind of starts to calcify faster.
And an interesting little side note is sometimes people with hormone-producing pineal gland tumors have also been known to have a bumpier time getting through puberty.
So some scientists theorize the reason it starts to calcify at that age, at puberty or right after puberty, has something to do with the shift into puberty, even though calcification can start a little bit when you're younger, and that it is actually necessary, or there would be a dysfunction in the growth process.
So of course we all want to move through puberty, but after 30, everyone's frantic about slowing down the aging process.
So the more it speeds up the calcification process, which has a lot to do with how you eat, by the way, which is why the cacao and the apple cider vinegar, mushroom, all those are really good to clean that stuff out, not just in there, but in
your entire body,
in your lymph system, everything. But more in a bit on slowing it down and decalcifying it at the end of this live.
And for those of you who have been waiting, let's talk about fluoride.
What is known is that fluoride accumulation in the pineal, because it does end up there, and the calcification itself are not the same thing. So very often people think the fluoride causes the calcification. It bonds to the calcification. Here's how. They do get thrown together because they hang out. Okay, so calcification occurs naturally with aging, and yes, large amounts of it can disrupt the function of the pineal gland, namely melatonin production.
And fluoride can also accumulate in the pineal gland, but what happens is that the fluoride snuggles up in a not so happy love puddle with the calcification that's already there naturally occurring?
The reason is the fluoride is attracted to the calcium in the bones and the teeth, and it's supposed to be because that's what helps you have strong bones and teeth. But it sees that calcium up in the pineal gland. It's like, oh, my friend, and then it just like goes up and like snuggles.
And they have a really dysfunctional rave love.
They have a dysfunctional relationship up in your pineal gland. So that's kind of what's happening there. So it's not. The fluoride isn't causing the calcification. It's probably your diet. But when you ingest fluoride from a variety of sources, it kind of makes its way up there. So here is the deal with fluoride.
Up to a certain amount, it strengthens certain bone structures, like Heather was talking about, while
too much fluoride can lead to fluorosis in some people, but people have different sensitivities.
And you can't go broad spectrum and say what is right for one person is right for another person, because they may have a different sensitivity or a different structure or a different metabolism in the way that they metabolize different things.
I remember in kids, when we were little, sometimes you'd have that, you'd see the fluorosis on the teeth where it was like discolored. That's when you have too much fluoride in the system and your body can't flush it.
Right.
So a lot of you guys
and we'll get into that in a little bit more.
I want to go to some of these questions.
Okay, so Denise says ACV daily for years.
Yes, that helps break it up.
Apple cider vinegar. A side note on apple cider vinegar, I would recommend not drinking it straight.
Well, you should mix it with water and through a straw, because when it hits your teeth, it can decalcify the teeth.
Yes, and burn your esophagus.
You don't want to do that.
Val says, I've heard an alkaline diet is best for decalcification of the pineal gland. Also, the pH level in your drinking water should be 7 or higher.
That's good. Right?
Lower acid, higher alkaline. But yeah, again, to the degree, because if you go too alkaline, you go into a whole host of other issues there. Okay, so you want to be balanced. Omar says, okay, so tap water is okay to drink. I would recommend filtered.
We filter our water here in Vegas because there's all kinds of weird stuff in it. And we'll get into that in a minute, because people talk about a lot about the fluoride that's added to the water. So let's talk about what fluoride is. Right. But there's a right amount of things. Like there's too much is too much
of anything.
You need, I think science has shown that you need some sort of calcium up in there in the pineal gland to do what it's supposed to do, but not too much of the calcium deposits are going to actually start to not be good for your brain itself. It's going to disrupt cognitive functions.
Right.
So, but what is fluoride itself? So fluorine is estimated. Fluorine is where fluoride comes from.
Right.
Fluorine is estimated to be the 13th most abundant element in the Earth's crust.
And is wildly and widely dispersed. You see what I did there?
Wildly.
In nature, almost entirely in the form of different fluorides.
So many minerals contain this element, including the mineral fluorite.
Which is a great gemstone for opening up your genius.
Right. So there's, like rainbow fluorite, right? So that's
rainbow
a member.
Fluoride, green fluoride, any of the fluorides.
All of those fluorides are a member of that family of fluorines. So they're very close. They're sister brother with fluoride. So fluoride can be organic or it can be inorganic, right? So fluoride itself is a naturally occurring mineral found in virtually all foods and beverages you eat. It is in everything. So you eat it naturally and you need it.
So it can be organic and inorganic, and it's also found in the air as pollution, and that is a byproduct of industrial processes or naturally as a result of natural earth events like volcanic eruptions or even just rock dust blowing around like in Vegas.
So Denise put out, what's your view on fluoride toothpaste? I think it's probably okay if you don't eat it, because when you, and that's what you got to be careful with kids, is when they eat the fluoride toothpaste, that's when you can absorb it into your body and kind of have a little bit too much in your body, because there is a limit to the daily fluoride you should have. But I mean, if you're worried about it, use a non-fluoride toothpaste.
But there's a safe zone, and we'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, we will. Okay? So how much is too much, though? We're getting into it right now.
That would be the safe zone.
So the average adult has to have 3 to 4 milligrams per day of fluoride, but the max amount, you're kind of in a safe zone up to 10 milligrams a day for adults.
Right.
And in some areas, the way people eat, and maybe they have a lot of funky stuff in their environment, it's kind of toxic. They've tested adults that have 27 milligrams a day. That's not good.
Right.
Okay. That can start that fluoride can start bonding with the calcium in the pineal gland, because it can't you can't eliminate it all. And that's when you start to get.
And it messes up with your sleep cycles and your growth cycles and things
Right.
like that. So adults retain about 60% of their fluoride intake.
If you're doing a natural fluoride intake, that you should be doing.
Yeah, normal intake. So most of the excess is excreted through peeing it out.
You just pee
Take
it
a
out.
piss.
Fluoride that you need hangs out in the bones and the teeth. So when
Mhm.
you eat the fluoride from your foods, it like ding, 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 it finds your bones and it makes them strong, right?
Right.
So because it likes to bond with calcium,
They're homies.
calcium and since the blood-brain barrier does not apply to the pineal gland, and there is that naturally occurring calcium up in there, the fluoride snuggles up and bonds with it, right?
It's like, hey, homie, how you doing?
So
Too much of any good thing can be toxic. I mean, you literally drown by overhydrating and drinking too much water in a day.
So, but if you are worried about water and the fluoride in the water, like we do, there's other weird things in Las Vegas water. We had the atomic testing thing,
Down
I
the
forget,
street.
right? You know, in Vegas. So filter it.
Yes.
I mean, it's better for you anyway.
And we live in Las Vegas where there are all kinds of weird things in the groundwater.
Yep.
So we always use filtered water for drinking, for cooking. It's just a good, healthy idea. Our personal preference is reverse osmosis with an extra other thing.
Splash a Reiki on it.
No, the coconut filter.
Yeah.
The other one.
But bonus though, remember from, you were told this as a kid, if you don't remember from health class,
Sugar destroys the positive effects of fluoride.
That's why you shouldn't eat sugar, because sugar actually kills the fluoride that's trying to help your teeth stay strong. So a quick comparison of fluoride amounts. So when you've got tap water that's fluoridated, you've got about 2.4 milligrams of fluoride in about a gallon of water. That's a bit of fluoride if you're drinking a lot of water in the day. For us, we don't really drink stuff from tap water so much. Like when we make anything with water in the kitchen, we'll use our filtered water.
Right.
A bottle of wine has about 1.1 milligrams of fluoride in it, naturally occurring fluoride. A really high concentration of fluoride is black tea. So a cup of black tea has like almost a milligram of
just a cup.
In just a cup of black tea. So ounce for ounce, the tap water has a lot less fluoride. If you drink a lot of water out of the tap, you're probably giving yourself a lot of the fluoride. But like I said, you've got up to 10 milligrams to be in the safe zone as an adult. I'm talking about adults here.
Right.
Coffee is not as high as people think.
Yeah, it's kind of negligible when it comes to regular coffee, so or even espresso.
Because people ask us about how much fluoride's in coffee and should I drink coffee. We drink coffee every single day. It's shown more health benefits than not, and they've tested coffee in different extremes for fluoride, and it can go anywhere from this much to that much, but it's still way, way, way lower than tea is, than black tea is.
So we basically do an intermittent fast where we fast for about 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then the first thing that we do is our bulletproof modified coffee in the morning. We do a second one, and then we're off to the races, and we
usually eat in the afternoon about 4 o'clock. We kind of do all of those practices and stay pretty healthy because of it. We'll tell you some of those in a few, but just if you're worried about the water, simple thing is just filter it or use, some other kind of water for your water. And that's kind of it. And the rest of it is just really eating healthy.
Yeah, that's it. So now let's talk about crystals. Crystals in the pineal gland. Here is the really interesting thing. In 2004, a study out of Israel in the field of chemical engineering found that there are 2 types of crystallization in the pineal gland. One is the natural calcification that comes with aging. Sometimes they call it brain sand.
Yeah, sometimes you'll hear it called brain
sand.
Brain sand. But inside the pineal gland is a second type of tiny little calcite crystals. And the second type generates bioluminescence, which is a type of light produced without heat.
Has anybody ever seen that little fish that goes with the light that says, "I'm going to eat you, come to the light"? I'm thinking it might be the same kind of thing. They held their pineal on the outside. I might just totally be making that up.
Bioluminescence. So let's explain what that is. So this new form of biomineralization that they found just in 2004, researchers observed it happens in the pineal gland.
Right.
It consists of small crystals that are completely distinct from the calcification that comes with aging.
When the Israeli researchers isolated the crystals under scanning electron microscopes, they found cubic, hexagonal, and cylindrical shapes with sharp edges and rough surfaces, composed of calcium, carbon, and oxygen, basically calcite, but different formations than are found in the aging calcifications.
Okay, so what do these crystals do? That's what we all want to know, right? You're all like, is it the third eye? The main thing they know that these crystals do, and the crystals themselves don't do it, they're just like the bounce off point to do it,
Right.
is their second harmonic generation is what they produce. And what is that?
So what is that? It is called, or it's also called frequency doubling, a phenomenon observed in the pineal gland. Basically, it happens when two photons of the same frequency interact with each other and interact with a nonlinear substance, in this case, these crystals. Now they have a new baby photon that is twice.
How it works. Okay, go ahead.
Two of these guys get together and they're like, hello.
That wasn't my demonstration.
Hello.
That's not
And
my
then
demonstration.
they make a baby photon, twice the energy of mom and dad. So twice the frequency. Mom and dad, baby.
That was sort of what I was going to demonstrate.
I know, but you forgot my friend.
No,
so.
no. See, okay, so you got two photons.
Mommy.
Okay, I
and
should have
daddy.
two. And then they like brrr, into the crystal, and they brrr, and they make a baby that's twice as strong as they are. So that was kind of the
Yeah. So anyway, that is called second harmonic generation, frequency doubling. They basically bump together, bump uglies, and make a double-sized baby.
Yeah, and so it probably has to do with melatonin production because it's the light thing.
Right.
So having two totally different crystal compounds in the pineal gland is significant because they're two entirely different mechanisms. They do two entirely different things, form and function, but they're made of some of the same substances, right?
Right.
They've got the calcium in common.
And there are many theories that are still out there because the second type of crystal helps to produce light or energy internally. It likely has to do with melatonin production because melatonin production is affected by the amount of light entering the eyes.
So remember how in the pineal gland video earlier this week, we told you that light enters the eyes and the amount of light that enters ignites this whole process and sets off the pineal gland to produce chemicals that eventually produce melatonin that regulates your sleep cycle.
And maybe you need that bioluminescent light as a nightlight inside of your brain. Your brain just needs a little nightlight.
Well, they're thinking that little light thing, that second generation, whatever it's called, with the photons, and they produce another thing, is kind of creating energy to help those molecules synthesize.
Yes, and it may also be a timing mechanism.
Yes, it is. That is attached to your biological clock.
By the way.
So,
and if you are completely in the dark, you don't know, so that thing stores the energy of the light to kind of give off a little, like an internal clock, like we're talking about.
It's kind of fun, but how does all this affect your third eye? This is all like the energy that helps your brain in general, right? Because the sleep cycle affects your cognitive function. So it's all tied in together.
Yes. So now let's talk about DMT. Let's talk about DMT. I know y'all want to hear about some DMT, right?
We're just like throwing all the pineal gland stuff at you. So Rick Strassman, who wrote the book DMT, The Spirit Molecule, is the main person that we know who, kind of got the popular ideas of DMT out there.
Right. He theorized that the pineal gland may form DMT under certain conditions, but could not prove it at the time.
But in 2013, researchers actually
we are talking dirty
found DMT in the pineal gland of rodents, but not with any evidence that it was actually produced there. Because remember the blood-brain barrier, it's like not there. So it's like, yeah, come on in, rave drugs.
Right. So remember that blood-brain barrier, which is super selective about who gets let into the VIP room of your brain. Doesn't apply to the pineal gland.
They just let everybody in.
So DMT might wander on up in there, from the lungs to the cerebrospinal fluid. Who knows? It's a wild party and it's crazy. DMT and sleep.
Yeah, that is another thing that
yes.
in Strassman's book, he talks about DMT being produced in sleep or
right.
near-death experiences or all those things. But here's what we do know.
Birth, death, and every night at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I think so. So DMT is a natural thing in your body.
yes.
What we do know is that DMT naturally occurs in the human body. It's not something you got to buy on the street corner.
And it is found in large quantities in the cerebral spinal fluid, which goes between your spine and your brain. It shares the same fluid because it's the same fluid.
It travels up and down your spine in like a cycle of like 10 seconds for all you myofascial people and cranial people out there. So, and that's why it feels so good to have your spine released and get work done on your central nervous system. So it's interesting to note that sometimes pineal gland tumors have been known to block the flow of the CSF.
Right.
So you can kind of speculate for yourself how much this might affect that internal drug experience or that feel good or that kind of thing.
So it is already found in large amounts in the cerebrospinal fluid, but it is believed to be produced in the lungs and the eyes.
Right.
This could be why we do long periods of deep breathing meditation, and sometimes you end up hallucinating.
Right. So
if you've done some really good breath exercises, wow.
Right. So deep breathing meditation can bring on
coming from little rave DJ way back in the day. So I can tell you, wow.
So yeah, the biggest theory is that it's produced in the lungs and the eyes.
Right.
So, which is kind of fun.
All right. So
all you need to do is breathe to get your drugs.
Just breathe and drugs are out there for you. So how do you start to balance the pineal gland for better function? Remember, we're talking in the beginning about calibration. This is where we're starting to get into the calibration of the pineal gland. Start with sleep.
Yes.
Get plenty of rest. If you want a better functioning brain and the ability to do all this wild, cool shit, then get some good sleep.
So, I mean, it's simple and like get your DMT dosage when you're sleeping, right?
Yes.
So sleep rejuvenates and strengthens connections between nerve cells. That's what it does. And if the brain does not rest, those circuits will be damaged.
Yes. So if you chronically sleep less than 5 hours a night, cognition significantly declines, and sleep deprivation disrupts normal neural functioning, let alone the badassery that you need for all the psychic stuff.
So trying to regulate your sleep cycles to match the dark light of where you live is really good. That's what we kind of try to do. Get up
the
with
dark
the sun,
and light,
like the daytime, the sun. So getting up with the sun, going to bed with the sun, we try to basically do that. It doesn't have
to be super strict,
because we allow for date nights and social and going out, but you're going to find that your ability to regulate your intuition, your empathy, your sense of oneness and peace is going to be much easier when you're in flow with the natural cycles of where you live on the globe.
Yes. And Wendy says I get 9 to 10 hours a day. That's good. And do you want to explain the 8-hour cycle? Okay, so a normal sleep cycle is about 1.5 hours, right?
So it ends up to be like 7.25 hours.
Yeah, which is why the rounding out to 8 hours a day is good. So next we're going to talk about pineal gland and brain health. I just wanted to throw that little extra nugget in there for you. So there are certain things that you can eat that will help to detox and improve health overall. And some say decalcify all that poop up in there.
And I'll tell you what, when I shifted all of my diet into that, my migraine stopped. Right. So there's got to be something to that. Maybe getting rid of that excess calcification in my pineal gland stopped my migraines, because I rarely ever get them anymore.
But it's more
than that.
It's more than just the cool stuff that happens when you decalcify parts of your body. Okay. It's decalcifying parts of your body instead of decalcifying just the pineal gland.
It's your whole body, right? So let's get practical. Okay.
Adding a few things to your diet can help break up some of that gunk for better functioning.
So for me, pretty much every day I'll have raw turmeric in my salad, raw super green foods like spinach, everyday raw spinach, turmeric, raw garlic, raw ginger,
cacao.
I'll have my raw cacao in my coffee in the morning. Lemons. We have a lemon tree.
Lemons are amazing.
So lemons, by the way, what's in the lemon rinds, the organic lemon rinds. We have an organic lemon tree because we don't give it bad stuff because we love our tree.
Yes.
And that has something like 80 times the power of chemotherapy to destroy cancer cells.
By the way.
So eating a lemon every day and maybe zesting some of that skin on your salad.
The grind.
grind. Yeah, this
The
is
grind on the rind.
Yeah, grind like shit,
Yeah.
whatever it's called, the little
Zest.
on your salad,
Right.
is super cancer fighting.
And some foods that are high in boron have been shown to break up calcium deposits, like avocados, almonds, bananas, beans, beets, chickpeas, going on plenty of dates,
Eating
hazelnuts, walnuts, even though Heather's allergic.
I can't do hazelnuts and walnuts because those are like
prunes, raisins, only when I'm in the water too long, all of which contain organic fluoride.
Right. So all of those have fluoride in them, but it's like you need
it's good fluoride to help you break up some of that calcium.
So raw apple cider vinegar helps cleanse the lymph nodes. I try to do a little bit of every day in like a little shot, little shot glass to allow better circulation, and it helps remove toxins, improves your immune system, as well as detoxing calcification. So really good for you.
The pineal gland.
So our coffee in the morning, like David was saying, is we do our coffee with MCT oil in it. We use cashew milk because both of us don't do a lot of dairy.
Right.
Only if maybe we're having creme brulee, then all bets are off. But I'll put turmeric in it, like powdered turmeric.
Not in the creme brulee.
No, in my coffee. So turmeric, cacao, and ginger and cinnamon.
Yeah, her coffee's a little too intense for me.
Cinnamon, yeah. And then I'll blend it in the blender with the MCT oil and the cashew milk.
So again, with fluoride, chances are if you drink good filtered water, eat healthy, organic, fresh, raw, watch your sugar intake, and incorporate some health practices, you're probably just going to be just fine, right?
And most of all, because you guys know we're foodies.
Yeah.
I mean, you have some fun. Enjoy your food. Don't get all anal, because I know some people that are like,
getting anal with your food is crappy.
Well, I think getting super strict and like freaking out about every little thing, it just adds more stress into your body,
right? And
actually does you more harm than good. So enjoy your food.
Yes, absolutely. So we find that when you understand the actual function of the mystical parts of your brain, it becomes a hell of a lot easier to access it, right?
And also how your physical, physiology works.
Yes, and playing and having fun.
So we're living in a new age.
It's the new age. Welcome to the new age.
Where we actually do know how a lot of this stuff works on a chemical brain level and exactly what parts of the brain are firing when you tap in. You just have to kind of strip away the speculation, be as healthy as you can without getting paranoid, and grow your brain and chill out and tap in.
It's your brain. It's how it works. Also, be sure to catch the other videos in this playlist in the link below. This is video number 5 of 7 on the mystical third eye meets neuroscience.
He really wants to be Bill Nye when he grows up. He does.
Is that Bill Nye?
I don't know, but I think you do. We will be back to chop it up with our hashtag YouTube fam faster than 2 shakes of a unicorn's tail after he's pooped rainbow frosting on your carpet.
So not pretty. Check out the link below for Zenit Academy. If you liked this video, hit that like button. And for more live hangouts, behind the scenes secrets, and mind hacking pro tips, I just want to go like zombie, and click the bell to turn notifications on.
I feel like you were spanking something.
I was. It was the bell. Ding, ding, ding.
So you're the first to know
when we drop a new video, drop a new video,
or go live.
And we know that time is a valuable and precious resource. And the fact that you guys have chosen to spend that with us, we absolutely appreciate that. Most importantly, that you guys are here to level up your skills and take your life, your business, and your entire freaking brain to a completely new level. We absolutely honor that even more. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video right over there or right over there. We will see you guys in the next video.
Eat your spinach.